and welcome to Knit All the Things. My name is Laurel. I'm also known as West Maven on Instagram, Ravelry, and here. If you're new, this is a space where I talk about all the things I'm knitting, all the things I want to knit, all things yarn, just all the things. And if you're returning, welcome back, Knitting Bestie. I can't wait to catch up with you. In this week's episode, I'm very excited to share with you my update on the Polka Dot Summer Cardi. This is a knitting pattern by Midori Hirose. I also have some other garment projects that I really am excited to share with you, as well as a sock knitting book review. Say that 10 times fast, I dare you. And a few other things. We are going to talk about my future cast on because I'm getting antsy. I'm to the point in my project where I'm feeling like very comfortable, but also very ready to cast on something new. So grab your knitting or your project, get cozy, and let's go. Okay, so we will talk about what I'm wearing really quick because that's what we do. But I also wanted to throw in there, if you stay towards the end of the video, then I will be asking a little quiz. This is something that's going to be on screen. And I really just want to get a little feedback from you guys about the podcast and things you are interested in. So if you stick to the end, I would love it if you could complete that for me. And it's really just touching the screen, yes or no. It's very simple. Okay, so let's get started. Let's talk about what I'm wearing. I'm wearing the Cumulus Tee. This is a pattern by PetiteKnit, and I knit it using Knitting for Olive, pure silk, and the colorway, I believe coal. It's whatever the black is. It's either licorice or coal. It's one of those two. I really like this one. It's very wearable. I was having issues getting dressed today. I don't know if this happens to you, but I just nothing was feeling comfortable. I didn't like how it looked on me. I was just feeling so fussy. And so I had to just default to maybe my most plain and boring knit, but one that does get a lot of wear because that's just what I was feeling comfortable in. I just couldn't, I couldn't do anything else. I had on bright colors, I had color work, I had a bunch of different shirts on, and I had to give up because it was just, I was feeling fussy. Like one of them was just probably 1/4 of an inch too short. And I was already tugging on it. I was like, that's too annoying and too distracting. So I decided to wear my Cumulus Tee. I feel like this knit is my most store-bought looking knit, if you will. It's very easy to throw on. The fabric itself is really nice. I really like the pure silk by Knitting for Olive. It is a really beautiful yarn and it's really nice to feel in your hands and it's really great to knit with. So I really have nothing negative to say about the yarn at all. I do want to say it does seem to be hard to get. I feel like the black sells out very quickly in any of the stores that I've purchased it from. So if you are unable to get it from the store itself, if you do go on Knitting for Olive, I do believe they've figured out the whole tariff situation if you are in the US, so you can go purchase it through them and not really have too much of a hassle. And even with the shipping, it's a great price. So that is my recommendation if you are looking for this color and you're unable to find it, because that has been the trickiest thing. When it starts to warm up weather-wise, if I know I want to knit something, especially this color and that yarn, then I try to remember to order it kind of earlier in the season, or maybe as winter approaches and it's been replenished, then grab some so that you have it for the next summer season. I really didn't enjoy knitting this because you are on the world's tiniest needles. So while it's super nice, and that's why it does make such a nice knit to wear, when you're knitting it, you don't see your progress really happen very quickly. And so it can feel daunting, but I am happy I have it. I believe I knit this 1 or 2 years ago, but it has gotten a lot of wear just because it is simple and easy to throw on. It's not too warm or anything like that. So highly recommend wearing the pattern and making the pattern. But it is definitely, if you just need something to knit and not pay attention, it would be great for that. So this is the Cumulus Tee, again, by PetiteKnit. So let's talk a little bit about our update. So I am making the Polka Dot Summer Cardi by Midori Hirose. This is the first one I made. It is a navy blue color, and the body of the sweater has polka dots, or these yarn over lacy bits with a stockinette sleeve. It's very simple. It really fits quite nicely. And I liked it so much that I am making another one. My one modification that I did do on the blue one that I am doing on my other one is that I did make the sleeves quite a bit longer. They're about 3/4 sleeves, so I think this is extra. But I do like having a longer sleeve. And I am going to, I think I did, since I have done the pattern, or since I'm redoing it, I also think that I lengthened the cuff just slightly. And the one thing that I think I'm going to change with my next one I'm knitting is I think I am going to make this band a little bit wider. I think I'm just going to like the way it looks a little bit better. This one is fine. But I think with the cuff being wide and the hem being wide, I think I just want this a bit wider, just a little bit. So this is what this one currently looks like on me. It is really cute. I like these kind of billowy sleeves. And I really enjoy wearing this. Like, I have worn it, even though it's a new knit to me. I am not somebody who like immediately starts wearing my knits a ton. So the fact that I'm always grabbing this one right now really means that I love it. So let's show you what I've got now. Oh, so it looks like I was in the middle of a row. So hold on real quick while I try and get us to the end so I can show you this sweater a little bit better, because it's kind of hard when your needles are in the middle of your work. So let's go ahead and fix this really quick. Okay, so we got to the end of the row. So this is what I have so far for the sweater. So I did actually finish a sleeve, and as you can tell on the body, I'm actually quite far on the body. I believe, let's kind of match them up. Of course, this is not blocked and this one is, but it will give you kind of an idea of where I'm at. I have about, well, this isn't going to show very well. But I believe I have about one more or two more little polka dot rows, and then I start my hem. So I am actually quite far on this one. And then I need to go back and count the rows, because this sleeve is looking quite a bit shorter than my current sleeve. And I don't remember it growing that much, but maybe it's okay. I don't know. So hopefully I literally did this crazy thing where originally I didn't have my blue sweater with me when I started the sleeve. So I had to like pause one of my videos where I'm holding up the sweater because I have all of like the stitch markers in it like this. And I like stopped and counted. And so I had an estimate of how much I was going to need to knit. And thankfully I made it home before I needed to actually figure that out. But I was like, okay, well, how am I going to figure this out? And I tried to find like a picture where I had it laying out, and it was like always a bit funny. So right now, that was what I'm doing, is I'm trying to finish this up. I just have, again, like I said, a little bit more of the body and then the hem. Some people don't love doing 1x1 ribbing. I actually don't mind it at all. I do what is called a like combination purl. So you knit regular, and then when you purl, typically when you purl a stitch, here's your two needles, and you put the needle in like you're going to purl something. So you put it like in here and you're going to purl, and instead of wrapping the yarn up over that needle, I just put it to the side and I like pick it through. So what that does is that actually kind of twists that stitch, which when you come then back to it, I believe, now I'm going to probably tell you this wrong, but I think you then kind of purl the back leg, which is just because the stitch gets twisted to basically untwist it each time. But that is faster for me than doing the purl where you're wrapping up above, because my hands are much more move a lot more during that kind of thing. So right now I have the green one is like half done. I'm really happy with the color. I think I said this before, but knitting it isn't my favorite, but I think wearing it will be great. For whatever reason, it's just kind of a yucky color to knit, but it's really pretty just to wear. So I don't know what it is about it, but it's one of those things that it's like I have a color aversion to it. And then, like I said, instead of this kind of thinner band for around the top. I do think I am going to make it a little bit wider. That could be a mistake. I guess we'll find out together. But I think that's the only other modification I'm going to make on this one. Again, I did hopefully make the sleeves long enough, and I do think that it does relax a bit when you block this fabric, so we'll see. And I'm using the same needle, which is a US size 6, and what else? I'm making a size medium. I've pointed this out before, but I will point it out again. This has a really cool detail where you actually pick up purlwise, and it is just as simple as putting your needle through the fabric from the back, and then you purl as you're picking up these shoulders, and it gives this very nice kind of look, almost like a garter looking bump, purl bump situation. And it just looks very, very nice. And it also, on the back, when you go to pick it up, it kind of continues on. I'll show you on the finished one. So that is kind of what I'm gonna do with that. This has a bit of fuzz. Ignore that. So that is the Polka Dot Summer Cardi by Midori Hirose. Again, I know a bunch of you guys are knitting this, so if you are, please tag me and let me know if it's okay to share on the podcast, and I'll share your guys's cardigans so we can inspire each other. This is, I believe I said it, but this is the Wandering Flock Cotton Lino. It is cotton, mulberry silk, alpaca, and cotton, mulberry silk, alpaca. Maybe there is a bit of wool in there. No, I'm not sure. Now I'm questioning myself. I don't remember. And I don't have it in front of me. Oh, I do. I lied. It is cotton, mulberry silk, linen, and alpaca. So it is a really nice, very drapey fabric. I do believe I made a mistake somewhere. I don't know if it's here or not. One of the holes looked a little bit bigger, and I think when I first knit it and I went past it, I did, like, when you're knitting it, on one of the rows, you are picking up 2 stitches on a yarn over. And when I did that, I think I picked up 3. So one of my holes is a little bigger. I think it's this one right here. And I think afterwards, if it really bothers me and it stands out after it's blocked, I am going to kind of fuss with the stitches around it. But if it continues to be wonky, then I think all I will do is grab a piece of yarn and kind of tighten one of the stitches and like tighten around that hole just so it isn't so wide. If I do that, I'll show you. But that is kind of where I'm at with the Polka Dot Summer Cardi. Okay, and I don't know if I said this or not, but I am on my 3rd skein of yarn. I've already made, obviously, this one, and I think that I ended up using just a tiny bit of my 4th skein, but I'm not sure because I was worried about the button band needing to like add yarn, so I just started a new ball, and then I realized later that that wasn't necessary, I think. But we're gonna find out with this one if I ended up using 3 skeins or 4, a little bit of 4, or 3 plus a little bit of the 4th one. We have this, and then I'm gonna tell you about all the shenanigans that I got into over the last couple weeks. So I did tell you that I finished this sock, and I have started on the other sock. This is just a vanilla sock pattern, and I'm gonna share with you a great resource in just a moment if you want to make your own vanilla socks and you're not sure where to start. But I was hesitant because I decided where I'm gonna put my heel, and then I realized, again, I have put in an afterthought heel, I believe, before. The way I did it, I think, was just differently than how I have this set up right now. And so it took me a minute. I'm actually feeling more confident and about ready to just bust out a heel. Maybe I'll do that this evening. Maybe that'll be this evening's project. Because it'd be really nice to just have, like, even if it's only a sock and not a whole pair of socks, it'd be nice to have, like, something finished. So maybe that's what I will do. But I am using this J-Wall Ling Yarns J-Wall Superwash, and there's like a darning thread within it, and I used the darning thread with the sock yarn for the toe, and I'm gonna do the same thing but with this blue for the heel, because this is for my husband and he just wears through socks like crazy. So we're doing a bit of an experiment to see if this does anything better, because right now I will give him these, and without that, it would just be destroyed in a few days, like so quickly. he wears through his socks so quickly. I knit with a size 1. Like, I do everything I can to, like, try to make this a better sock, and it's just not working. I've used the best so far is the BFL British, I can't think of the word right now. Anyway, BFL wool seems to be the best wearing for socks. It's not as soft, so they aren't his favorite, and they still get holes, but typically I can see it sort of coming or like wearing to where I can get it back from him and fix it before it's like an actual hole. But I have been working on this one, the second part, and I am getting ready for the Afterthought heel. But the reason I brought that up was because the other day I was looking, and I know that I follow Summer Lee, but for whatever reason, like Instagram does this to me, YouTube does this to me, like all of a sudden I just don't see anybody's stuff that I would have seen for a long time. And so it just like, I didn't see her post for a long time. But I remembered I had one of her sock books and she had popped up in my feed, which kind of reminded me about it. And I thought, I know that she had an afterthought or like something in that book, so I'm gonna peek at that. I also believe that like the Vogue knitting, like it's a giant book, I can't think of the exact name right now, that also has like how to heal. So I found her book called The Sock Project. This is her first book, which I will get to the next thing in a second. But within this book, it has basically five separate sock recipes. So toe up, cuff down, different heels, including the Afterthought heel with photo tutorial within it. And so I thought that was really helpful, and I'm gonna look at this to do this heel. And in the meantime, I just thought she had some really, really cute socks in here. So here's a couple that I thought were really cute. And this is, of course, called The Sock Project by Summer Lee. So I got this out of the bookshelf and was looking at it. And then I was looking up something else and saw that she had a second book. And I don't know how I missed this, because I swear, I'm like, how is it that I missed this? I'm sure she's probably been talking about it a lot, but for whatever reason, I have not been seeing her post or something. So I completely missed that she had a second book out. And it's called The Sock Obsession. And it has a little bit more sock patterns, like just full patterns. It also has like very fun tips. It has little anecdotes. There's really a bunch of different helpful things within this book. How to weave in your ends. If you're doing color work, her tips on doing color work and doing floats on socks, all kinds of things. But I wanted to get her book, so I ordered it and got here today right before I started, so I really have not had the chance to like flip through this. But one of the things that did really catch my eye were the bumblebee socks. So my husband and I have this whole little kind of inside joke about bees, and so I thought that I would finish these socks for him and then do a little bee on the next pair, because this is the only thing that I make for him. He, I don't think, would wear a sweater. I don't want to get the curse of the sweater curse, but I really, after flipping through this, there's some very, very cute socks in here. So if you are a sock knitter or you're curious about sock knitting, definitely this is a really cute book. There is, what is this one called? Hold on. This is called the Escher Socks. So cute. It almost looks like she used a spin cycle maybe. And then, let's see, does it tell us? No, she used the Lennis du Nord watercolor sock. So it's the same company as actually that made my striped socks. They do a watercolor fade in some of theirs, and so that's what this yarn is, which is so cute. And I just thought these ones look so cozy. Hold on, let me find one that's not on the pattern. This is the Fisherman Fade. Those look so cozy. So she has so many different ones. Is this one? This one's just a regular fingering weight. But she has just so many little patterns in here. Another one that's like the Channel Island socks. So cute. So this one, I would say, while you could do it as a beginner, if you're more into a little bit of a challenge, this is a great one. But if you are a beginner and you still want to knit some really cool socks, this one would be my recommendation. So both of them you can get now. And yeah, I want to knit something out of this. And the thing about Summerly is I knit my very first socks using her I'm So Basic pattern. She has tutorials online, and she is so incredibly excited about sock making that it gets you excited. She also has a YouTube channel, which I will link below as well, and she does some really fun vlog style videos. So if for some reason you haven't seen hers, I will link it below. And also, she likes really bright and colorful things, and just look how cute these would be sitting on your shelf. Just saying. They look so adorable. Okay, the shenanigans. So bear with me because I know not everyone is as into non-knitting things, but I promise this is going somewhere, so stick with me. I had a couple of hours to myself. Sometimes as a mom, you just need like just some time. And I told my husband, I was like, oh, I need like an hour or so just like to myself. Like I'm kitted out for the day. And so he hung out with the kids, and I left the house and decided that I was going to go to a vintage store because it is a place that I feel like going with kids, which I sometimes do. I always feel like I'm like, oh, please don't touch that. That's glass. Let's not break that. Or like, please don't run under the clothing racks, all the things, right? Feeling like I need to manage them while I'm out and about. But not having them, I could slowly go through the entire store, which had a ton of different vendors, and like slowly look at everything and just take my time. So that is what I did. And I got two things I'm going to show you because I think they're fun. So the first thing that I found was this really fun, and I was wearing it earlier, but sitting down with a belt buckle isn't very comfortable. Just this like fun old vintage leather belt with a little tiger-y belt buckle for some whimsy. And then the other thing that I found, for whatever reason, I'm sure you guys have noticed, I don't wear dresses almost ever. But in my mind, I saw this dress, and I'm gonna hopefully put a picture and maybe even a video. If I do put a video, I don't think I look, I think I didn't even brush my hair that day, so ignore what I look like. But I found this white dress, and I thought this person's booth actually had a ton of like very cool kind of similar vibes things. And I saw this dress and I thought, oh my gosh, this could be so cute. And I think that I would like to play with the way this dress is and make it really my own. So, because that's what we do in knitting is we, you know, pick a pattern, but then we pick all the colors and change things so that it's our own. So I decided how cool would it be if I could dye this beautiful white cream dress a dark color, maybe black. So I went back and forth, I researched, it didn't have any like fabric tag, so I had to go off of like maybe what the internet said about dresses. This was a vintage Jessica McClintock dress, and according to Google or whatever, most of the time it falls into the category that would mean I could dye it with RIT all-purpose dye and not the synthetic dye. So with all that being said, it's behind me. I'm going to grab it and show you. So here we are. And I have some things pinned on it. This kind of, it's almost like a purpley maroon color kind of came through, as well as like on the actual main. I'm trying to do this without getting a ton of pins in my hand. Is this like kind of the flowers within the lace kind of dyed to that same kind of purpley, blacky, burgundy color, which I'm not hating. However, there was some polyester lace on it, and that doesn't dye. So basically this came out kind of a grayish pink, and while I don't absolutely hate it, I don't think it looks that great when wearing the dress. So there's a couple of things that I want to do here, and I've been waiting on just supplies to arrive, but here's what I'm thinking. First of all, the main alteration I'm going to be doing is cutting, and there's this like kind of lace pattern down the center that is slightly lighter than the other, but not by much. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut down the center of the dress entirely. And I'm going to do this for a couple of reasons. One, I think I will wear this more as like a lace duster over stuff. And if I want to wear it as a dress, I still think I'm going to put buttons in all the way down, like little buttons, all the way down the dress, so that I could wear it as a dress if I still want to. And I found this lace that I think I'm going to kind of cover this other lace panel up with, and then also kind of wrap it around the edges of this thing that I'm cutting down the center, and then attach the buttons. So it can be little cute buttons down the center. And then what I'm trying to decide is how I'm going to attach the lace around the collar, because I do want it, I think, around the collar as well. Another kind of change that I will have to make, I believe, I'm not very wide shouldered. My shoulders are quite narrow. And so this is kind of falling off of my shoulder. So I think I'm also going to be bringing in this a tiny bit. So I need to figure that out before I do this piece, like trying to put the lace on. This kind of burgundy lace, I don't think I want to cover. So I do kind of want it on top of whatever I'm doing with this black lace as well. And then I am going to, I think only part of me, if I was very adventurous, I would take this apart for this lace to be removed. And I'm not. I'm not adventurous at all. I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to do is I'm going to cover it with this lace. So I actually got a ton of different laces, and this is the one that I came up with that I liked the best. And so I am just going to sew this on top, cut down the center, use this to frame that cutting and add buttons. And then I'm also going to add it over the sleeve. So I tried to pin it a little bit just to give you guys the idea of what I'm going. It definitely went from like wedding dress to morning dress, but I don't hate it. So this is a project for another day. It's going to take me a while only because, well, for several reasons. Let me set this up. So this is going to take me a while because it's just in an unknown space. I've not done this before. I can sew. I've sewn a lot of quilts when I was way younger. My issue currently is just that I'm not super familiar with garment sewing anymore. So since I haven't done it for such a long time, like 20 years or more, it is just remembering how to do it. The other thing is that I feel my machine is a little finicky and I don't want to get rid of it. I love it. It has actually sentimental value, but because of that, it is a bit frustrating. I did purchase like bobbins and needles because I realized I don't know when the last time I changed the needle on the machine was, and I know that's wrong. So I got new needles. I have like oiled everything up. Last time I tried to even just hem pants, finding the correct tension was a huge issue. I feel like I may understand that a bit better and have better starting points, but it is a frustrating thing, and like delusionally I have tried to do something. I'm like, this will only take an hour, and like 3 hours later I'm finally finishing, and it's because I'm fighting with my machine. So all that to say, I would love for this to be a quicker project. I don't think it's going to be. I do think I'm going to hand sew some of the lace because I just think I can do it faster than my machine. Even if I tack it all down and then I can just run it over with the machine, that would even be better than trying to fuss. So hopefully with bobbins that are fresh, needles, making sure everything's oiled and already, like, we won't have this problem, but it is a potential issue because it's been an issue. The other thing that I did was, hopefully I will have put a picture of this as well, but my husband bought me this shirt. He really likes this artist, and he does like funky versions of like pop culture things. So this is supposed to be like Garfield, but like more as a tiger situation. And this shirt was light yellow, which is maybe the world's worst color on me of all time. He thinks it was white, but he's also colorblind, so we're gonna go with light yellow. But I decided literally last minute as I was dyeing this in the sink, and I was going to film that process, but honestly, I have an all-white kitchen and I was dyeing black dye, and my anxiety was so high that if I would have messed up something because I was trying to catch it on film or on camera, I would have been so upset. So I just had to focus only on that. But I did decide last minute that I was going to throw this t-shirt in, but because of the way that the screen printing is, especially like at the eyes, I didn't want to like fully submerge this and have this be black because I think that would have been weird, and I didn't want the like eye face to get too messed up. So what I did do was I pretended like I was going to tie-dye this, just meaning that I like very carefully decided where I was going to gather kind of the face, essentially kind of like this, and then rubber band it, and I dipped it in the black dye and let it hang out really just for a few minutes, and then took it out. And then when I went to do the dye fixative for this dress, I threw this in really quick, the entire thing, including the face, and then pulled it right out and rinsed it, like just so that it got rid of the like very stark difference then between the white and the black dye, which is really purple. This was much darker, obviously, at first than when I washed it out, but I do like it. I like how it turned out. I will wear this color a lot more. I sent a picture to the designer of this shirt and he was like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. So that was just a fun little added bonus. Quick battery change. So as I was saying, this was just a nice little bonus that got thrown in there. I was really just so worried about dyeing this. This is the very first time I've ever attempted to dye anything. It honestly makes me super nervous that I'm going to just get dye on something I don't want it on. So as I was doing it, I was thinking, wow, I so respect all these yarn dyers that are like in it, doing it, because I can see why people would enjoy it, but I am so happy that other people are dyeing yarn and it's not me because the mess. I can't. So anyway, I really enjoyed getting that figured out, and I am very close. I think I have one more thing coming today, a little bit more of this lace, just so I don't have to like worry about trying to get everything exactly fitting and not run out. I just wanted like plenty of lace, so if I have to redo it, then I have a little bit of wiggle room. Hopefully I don't mess it up. I think if nothing else, it'll just need to be redone more than one time. That's fine. Again, I don't know how I'm gonna lay this neckline to make it look nice. I may also change it to be, rather than it being scoop like it is kind of right now, to make it a little bit V'd. Might be nice, but we'll see. I can't really change too many things because I already feel like it's quite a huge undertaking as it is. So we'll see. I do realize that there is definitely an order to doing things. Waist cutting it first and then doing the waist lace, I think, is the proper way of doing the next step, and then figuring out the thing so it can go over that waistband. Anyway, if you want to know more about that project, let me know in the comments below and I will try and take you guys on a little bit more. Beyond that, the next thing that I'm going to be working on, knitting wise, I am looking at a couple of different patterns I think I'm not going off of what the next pattern I want to knit is going to be. I think it's going to be based off of the yarn. So I have one more sweaters quantity of the Wandering Flock yarn. If I didn't say, this colorway is khaki, this is navy. I knit in burnt orange already, and then or burnt sienna, and then I have a chocolate brown. So I'm looking for a pattern for the chocolate brown. Part of me is really considering another cardigan. Not this cardigan. We're done with this cardigan for right now. But maybe another cardigan, because I do wear cardigans a lot. And this will be my 4th cardigan, but if I had more I would wear them, because I actually, of all of the sweater like things, that is the one thing that I do wear the most and I have the least of. So a cardigan would make sense, but I'm thinking also a pullover. It also does not have to be just the chocolate brown color. There are a few, I think I have like an older Ann Vincel pattern that I bought a while ago that had stripes that could be cute, like brown with some color stripe, like a cream or a light blue or something. I don't know yet. Something like that. So there's other ideas that I'm thinking about. I just haven't fully committed. So I also wanted to say, while I'm thinking about it, Wandering Flock, Geraldine, I believe just sent out an email in the last few days saying that they are getting a cotton lino update / not restash, but I can't think of the word. They're getting more of it. So if you are interested in that yarn, then go onto their website, because I believe they will be getting more very soon. And if you aren't on their newsletter, sign up so that you can be informed when that arrives. Restock. They're getting a restock. I was like, it'll come to me when I'm gonna turn the camera off. The one last thing we have, and I promise I will stop. So if you made it this far, I know that you're one of my knitting besties. If you are somehow not subscribed, make sure to do that. But real quickly, if you can, either in the comments or on screen, please let me know the following. Do you enjoy these types of podcasts where we're just chit-chatting our way? Would you prefer vlog content? This would be pushing me way out of my comfort zone, but I'm debating on a little bit. Occasionally, not all of the time, but maybe occasionally, especially with this secret knitting, I'm thinking of capturing it that way, because I really do want to share the process with you, not just the finished sweater. And so I am kind of considering with that, maybe doing sort of a vlog style. But let me know what you think. Regular podcast, that. And then third option, I will also put like the pattern roundups, like how about what is your favorite style of content. And then the other question I have for you guys is length of podcast. I was for a while keeping them only to 30 minutes, no longer, and then we have wandered into longer territory. So I am very curious if you like the longer ones or if you actually prefer the shorter ones, because if you prefer shorter videos, then maybe doing them more often but keeping them shorter is a better way to go. So let me know, longer, shorter, what is your favorite? And that's it. We'll leave it at those questions. So if we are, again, not yet knitting besties, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and please like this video. It does tell YouTube that other fiber enthusiasts like yourself enjoy this type of content. Until next time, make some yarn magic. Bye!